Hey you, so in this video, the dangers of long-running collector coin series, I'm going to be going over, well, I'd say the top 3 reasons as to why, since I've been collecting, I can see a series going for a very long run, i.e. no end in sight, or even a decade plus, so 10 years plus. I'm going to go over some of the reasons as to why I see that a bit of a danger, and I've come about this going through some of my own coins that I own and just seeing how it's kind of worked against these coins that were involved in or that come under that category, and maybe just talk on some of the methods that the mints have taken to adjust that, but we'll see how well that will do. So I'm going to be displaying these 2-ounce Kookaburra coins, perfect coin here, because I'll be touching upon these in a moment. Now I've just got a bunch of these, so a complete set but randomized. I won't be taking out the capsules and these little baggies that they're in. So I would say number one reason as to why I see a very long running coin series becoming a danger to maybe a coin that you may be interested in, and that's going to be it lacks originality. You know, the same animal, whether it be Kookaburra, a Chinese panda, you know, coming up with some of the new ones. I know they do cars and stuff, so you could be looking at something maybe like the emus and even the swans, which is my new love of the animal coins that are out. I see these ultimately working against the coin for a very, very, very long run, and these coins I'm displaying here are a prime example of coins that go on for a very, very long run, and that's going to be the Kookaburra coins. Why? Because it just gets boring at the end. It's lacking diversity in that, you know, today you're looking at the Kookaburra sitting on a perch with another Kookaburra, and then, you know, you next coin, whether it be a year later, you're getting the Kookaburra, you know, spreading its wings and going flight. You know, you're getting the same animal. Now that was the issue. It was no secret that the Luna series done better than the Kookaburra series, and that was confirmed through a load of the dealers that I was dealing with when it would come to reselling some of these coins. Now I will touch upon the 2-ounce kooks and how they're an exception, you know, more towards the end of this video. But ultimately, whether it's a Chinese panda, I personally view them, once again, all the thoughts and things I'm about to say are all my own personal opinions, you know, nothing is set in stone, just my own, you know, perspective of things, is ultimately these animals become a drag. You know, you're going to have your favorites when the series first starts. You're going to have individuals going cuckoo for them when they first start, but I see it as a downfall for a series, and especially one that just focuses on one animal. When, you know, collecting and coin collecting, especially as we've seen it, is a roller coaster ride. You know, so we've seen when, you know, metals was all the rage and everybody was all for the metals and everybody was getting cuckoo for the metals and collecting the metals, and, you know, we get these quiet times now, and it most definitely works against the coin. You know, just look at the 1-ounce kooks. It's what's coming out today. Oh, it's a kook. I think you could drop any one of these highly desirable looking kooks now, be it this 2009 or 2008 currently, and I don't think it could save the market right now. So this is obviously playing a much larger role also, and that's purely because, one, we've been getting the series for, I don't know, 25 odd plus years. I don't know when they started now, 1989 or something like that. But two, when it's the same animal, it's going to turn people off over a period of time. And I see that as one of the biggest dangers for long coin running series. And that's going to be ones that's like a double danger that contain the same animal over and over. So it's only so many good positions you're going to get the kook posing or the panda posing. You know, you can add as many cubs or piglets as you like, or pups, you know. It's just not happening. You know, with that one animal, it's becoming a drag. You know, individuals are seeing it, and it's just, you know, one too many. So that would be the first thing I would say, and that is just the repetitive nature of the same animal. And then we'll get on to the next reason, and that is going to be because with a long coin running series, there technically is no end. And now the dangers with that is when you have a coin series with no technical end, so it's technically got a, you know, from now till forever end date. Ultimately, how I see this is the coins over a period of time, what you've been collecting, and not to forget paying a large premium or a small premium for some, are going to ultimately end up losing, because you're going to have the same coin, be it a different pose or a different motif at a time of the year, whichever it comes out. But as we know, all those that are into metal, too many of the same thing, you know, becomes overinflated, and it reduces the overall cost of it because it's oversaturated. And I believe that's what happens with these coins that have no end, and then also have the same repetitive animal or, you know, position each year. You know, you have some coins that have the same motif, and you'll be looking at something like the Libertad, or I would say not even use that as an example, let's say the American Eagle. But with that, you at least know you're getting that at bullion prices. Whereas with these collector coins that you're paying the collector premium for, it ultimately ends up a lot sooner than later nowadays because of that exact nature. And I'll touch upon even how when it can get even worse or even rapid, or, you know, happen a lot more rapid. And one of the points I'll bring up next. So having these coins, you know, going for a very long period of time and having no end in sight ultimately ends up killing your collector premium that you paid, and pushes the coin that you purchased as a collector coin, was sold as a collector coin, has many different variants because it's a collector coin, but pushes it straight into the bullion section because there's so many of them out there. Prime example would be something like the Luna coins. You could even say these Kookaburra coins. Still, as I'm displaying the 2 ounces and not getting into why I think these are fantastic picks. So I would say the same animal as we're running down the 1 and the 2 definitely has a negative impact over a period of time. If you love that animal, it's a bonus. You know, you get to see a panda every other year, you know, you get to see a kook, or you get to see now a swan. But how long till it becomes drag, till it becomes boring? The mints are constantly having to evolve. I mean, one of the steps taken, as we always talk about, with them reducing the mintage now, I mean, that alone should be a big sign, because a lot of people may not have clocked onto this, but not only have they reduced the mintage, but with the current release of the 50k below coins, they only currently have them out in one size, which is very, very, especially for someone as big as the Perth Mint, for instance. You know, with their Kookaburra coins and with their Luna coins, yes, they did experiment in the early years, but they've normally brought out the coins in many different ranges. This far in the game, something like a Luna coin, they bring them all out as one. So you'll have the half ounce, the, you know, the 10 ounce, the 2 ounce, if that's what they're doing, the kilo coin and the likes of. Whereas with these, they've now reduced the mintage to such low levels and only bring them out in one size. Now, I could tell you now, Perth are taking a massive hit on that, because once upon a time when they could down there ship 300k 1 ounce or 500,000 1 ounce Kookaburra coins, if you think about that, comparing that to the swans, I believe with 25k mintage, and the emus, and even the, which we got the tiger dragons at time of release of this video. I mean, all of those at their maximum mintage doesn't even come close what they could have pushed out of the 1 ounce Luna coins, for instance, 300,000. So they're taking a massive hit on that, and they're doing that for a reason, because they know they need to shake up their modern collector coin market and, you know, get us back in thriving over these and throbbing over these coins. But I think it could be too little too late, but it also has, you know, bad future for these coins here, because, you know, something like the Luna 2 has been crazily oversaturated. You know, no word at time of release of this video what the Perth Mint intends to do with that coin series. But, you know, currently with so many out from the half ounce, and not to forget every size I'm going to mention, from the half ounce, the 1 ounce, the 2 ounce, the 5 ounce, the 10 ounce, the kilo, has a gilded variation of that. So you'll have a gilded half ounce, then you'll have a colored half ounce, and the same for the 1 ounce, and then the same and the same and the same. So those coins are technically, to me, I would say a horrendous investment now. You know, most definitely for the quick flip. With the current ones out that they have, as we can see some of these bare, you can really see the gleam on them, fantastic condition. you have much better opportunities. But even they know the current model that they did have with a lot of these long running coins, even it was very, very, very bad, you know. And now I'll get to the third reason, which I would say is going to be overkill. You know, overkill saturation, and that's exactly what I was just explaining. And the Luna series is a prime example for that. You have that one coin in so many different variations, whereas regardless, I mean, I don't think I've seen a coin do well that had that many variations to it, be it a smaller size, where we're talking the Luna coins. You take a Perf Mint Luna coin, you take the 1 ounce, you can then get it in the ½ ounce, you can get it in the 2 ounce, you can get it in, you know, the proof variants, then you have the gilded, then you have the colored. That's overkill. And then you have a series where I believe the Luna coins was 12 years. So, you know, it did have an end, but even those became, you know, boring at a period of time because you had so many out there. I think they, you know, I'd say Perf Mint, Royal Canadian Mint. I don't even know some of their most popular coins. They was able to really have a field day. And when you think about these numbers ain't gigantic in the grand scale of things, you know, 500,000 worldwide is not a massive number at all. But, you know, the fact that they're having to struggle now, and the going was great once upon a time in a strong spot price as well, these things really don't make a difference. But in a weak market like it is now, collector coins shouldn't be taking such a hit. So the current changes ultimately will affect the older coins and the older series in the long run, most definitely. So getting back to why I think these 2 ounce kooks are a fantastic option for individuals. You know, I've been asked a few times, I've done a video recently on the current kooks, and I've most definitely pulled out the 1 ounces for all the reasons I've mentioned in this video here. And you know, the kooks have no end. But the great thing to these 2 ounce kooks were, you could look at it like subconsciously Perf Mint done individuals that just choose to go after these coins a favor, because they only brought these out, I believe, from 1992 to the 2009, which gives you 18 coins. So technically within a very hot series, you have now the Perf Mint came out with the Kookaburra coins, now even the Swan coins, and said it was going to be an 18 coin release. It would be absolutely massive, because that's what collectors want now. These are kind of the height points that you need to give. Something like the Royal Mint Queen's Beast. You know, you're getting 10 coins, you're getting them twice a year, so it has an end. That straight off the bat brings in more collectors. But then even with it on such a short time frame, it having an end can have people look past the coins themselves having no actual mintage cap. So, you know, when you look at these as an option, for instance, it's they brought the 2 ounce variants out in many, you know, in proof and, you know, pretty coin sets. But I'm focusing on the bullion here, because if an individual did want to pick these up, it would be a lot easier for them to acquire the bullion, whereas some of these proofs and, you know, specimen sets and the likes of are virtually impossible to find. But, you know, if you want to take your stacking that much further, it's always an option. Whereas with these, you technically have Perf Mint doing something that they didn't intentionally, but did intentionally do, which will make these more desirable because there's only 18 of them. So you could say these are some of the best years to date. They have the best collections in, you know, so definitely individuals look at if you're a kook lover, the 2 ounces, that's where they offer their best opportunities. The 1 ounces, we know what we're getting, they're still going on, have no end in sight. But with the current Swans and the 50k below mintages, I can't see these in 1 ounce form being worth it. You know, fantastic for the mints, but not good at all for individuals collecting them to flip at a later date at some point. You know, it's always going to be great for the mints. It's always going to be great for individual collectors, personal collectors that collect these for their stack. Fantastic. For individuals that want to flip or maybe sell for a premium at some point in time, those things, or the things mentioned in this video, most definitely need to be taken into account. So I'm going to wrap this video up, guys, and this has just been the dangers of a long running collector coin series. So it'd be great to hear your thoughts and ideas and what you think about that. Do you see a long running coin series as a benefit, for instance? You know, if it's doing well, you get longer and longer to really capitalize on that, or do you see it as a hindrance? It'd be great to hear your thoughts in the comments, guys. So hate or love it. It'd be great to know what you guys think of this. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll catch you guys in the rebound.